Hello and welcome to the Window Seat Podcast. I am LP and I'm joined by my co-host.
Blind from the truth.
All right, so let's talk about the Baltimore mom, the world's greatest mom, as she's being called right now. What are your thoughts on that?
I think she is really emasculating her son on live television, and the white world, the white America, is applauding her for something that they would really condemn her for if it was the other way around, meaning she was just whooping him and they didn't know why.
Yeah, I think I'm of the same mindset. Yes, to the emasculating her son, most definitely. But I think it's just amazing to how what happened in Baltimore not happened. CPS would have been called a long time ago. And it's always like, no corporal punishment. That's not how you deal with issues and such and such and such and the third. But when it's something that supports a certain agenda, then it's okay. And I think that's bullshit, to be perfectly honest.
It really is. I agree. I think you were saying CPS was possibly looking into it, and I was saying that, hey, your boy Anderson Cooper is not going to have her back, even though he's taking the pictures, smiling, skinning and grinning, while her son is sitting there looking like, hey, how in the world did I get into this predicament with this white dude, with my black mom, my black sister, trying to hope for a better tomorrow? I mean, hey, maybe, I don't know, I didn't see the video. Maybe he did some rash judgments when it comes to throwing rocks. She said she saw him throwing rocks. I didn't see it. Maybe the cops roughed him up a little bit. I don't know. I wasn't there. Maybe he was just protesting. Maybe she mistook him for someone else, or she mistook someone else for him. I don't know.
I don't know either. I mean, I don't know if I know she saw him on TV. She said she saw him throwing rocks on TV. And I get that as a parent, your mind goes to, I need to protect my child. But then, so I totally get her going down there and wanting to bring him back, take him, from that place or whatever, especially with everything going on, because that could have popped off into something much more chaotic than what was already happening. So I get that. However, what I don't get is her taking that teachable moment. That was a teachable time, and turning it into something that was humiliating. I'm sure she was, condescending toward him. From what I read and from the little bit that I saw of the video, she was cussing and fussing and hitting and all types of stuff. And it's kind of like, the hell? That does not make any sense whatsoever. That's not how, we kind of disagreed on whether it was parenting or not. But in my opinion, that's not how you parent. I understand that everybody does it differently. I get that. But you taking a person who was, if he was down there for the right reason, he was fighting for a good cause. That's what it boils down to. He was protesting. He was doing what people are saying kids need to be doing more of, being aware, being conscious of what's going on around them, and standing up for something. If he was down there for the right reason. Now, if he's a little butthole and he wasn't down there for the right reason, then that's a totally different subject. And again, that will go back to parenting, lack thereof, stupid teenager, whatever you want to call it. But based on his responses, based on his demeanor, it kind of seems like he had a thought in his head when he decided to go down there. And it was the right thought, in that this is an injustice, and I'm going to stand up to, the people who have perpetrated it.
Right.
But I don't think she saw it that way. I don't think she saw it that way.
Yeah, I don't think she comes off as the type that is conscious of what's going on. It's more so, let me sit here and shield my 17-year-old from the world for one more year or two, whatever, until he gets out of the house, when he's going to have to go and face life anyway. That same injustice that possibly could be prevented, or at least handled differently in the future. She's trying to take him from a very important part of his generation, of our generation.
I agree with that, and I think that Personally, I don't think that she's trying to shield him from nothing. She's trying to shield him from a bullet. Yes. I don't think she's trying to keep him from being unaware of what's going on around him purposely. Because I think if that was the case, she would have taken a different road to relay that message. So I don't think it's like a shelter type thing. I'm trying to keep you. No, I think it's a control thing. First of all, I think it's a control thing. And because if that was the case, then she wouldn't be parading him around on TV on all these talk shows and stuff. That's not
Right.
protecting your child. Not. You want to take your ass on TV and you want to talk about, what you did and so forth, and maybe the contract said that but as a mother, if you really protecting your child, if your child's best interest is really at the heart of what you're doing, then you're gonna say, well, hey, I'll come on the show, but I'm not bringing my son. First of all, he need to have it at school. Second of all, what is he needed for? The action is about me, what I did. Why does he need to be there to be an example and have him say these three lines of, yeah, I was wrong. She told me, she taught me better. That rehearsed shit. It's
Yeah.
not necessary. So I don't think that it was about protection from that perspective. Yes, she probably was protecting him from possibly being shot or killed, but as far as anything else, no, because I think her actions after that was very telling, in my opinion.
I agree.
The CPS aspect of it is, I think, so interesting because, like you said, a lot of these talk show hosts that are having her on and are encouraging her and saying, yes, go Latoya or Tanya, whatever her name is, go, yes, you was right. Ain't nobody gonna have her back when CPS come knocking, which they already have, and it's video proof that you're physical towards your child and not in just like a tap on the butt type of way. Like, you're fighting him. You are fighting him. He's not fighting back. He's walking away, and you're aggressive. You're being the aggressor. So where I live, that's ground for child abuse charges, plain and simple. Especially when it shows him walking away and not physically coming toward you, and you still punching and cussing and so forth. That would be CPS involvement off top. I don't know what Baltimore or Maryland rules are when it comes to that or whatever, but yeah, check and see who's gonna have your back when you stand in court in front of the juvenile justice judge.
Not one individual that was allowing you to talk about how you clowned out there. But that goes back to the last episode when we were talking about the whole public parenting thing.
Mm-hmm.
Because you going on those talk shows, he is searching for that validation. Yeah, I got this one. I got this one right. I got this one right. And she's trying to publicly parent, and she's trying to shame your boy. And that's uncalled for, man. That dude's supposed to be a man. Let that man be a man. He's 17, 18, whatever it is. Let him be a man. He has to learn how to handle his situations. So a woman can't teach a man how to be a man, right? So if you're sitting there trying to son him, that is your son, yes. But you're trying to son this man when he's trying to grow up and be active in his community for his rights. How you gonna sit there and try to shut him down like that? That's not letting him be a man. Just like it's a terrible example, but just like on Friday when Craig got to fight with Debo. Oh, his mama wanted to come in with the gun. He not fighting forever. Like, hey, let him be a man. You win some, you lose some. Sometimes you gotta take this whooping. Meaning, sometimes you gotta go out there, not knowing what's gonna happen, but you gotta stand for your beliefs, and you gotta fight for them the way you know how. Sometimes you may take that L, a bigger one than you expected. But in my personal opinion, deep down in my heart, that's what being a man is about: stepping up to the responsibilities that you feel you need to attend to.
I um, okay, so I understand that, and I don't think that women can teach little boys how to be men. I don't think that that's the case at all. However, I think that yes, you win some and you lose some. That's life, but it's different than than two people fighting and going against a system that you already know has no regard for your life whatsoever. That's the whole reason that you're out there, is because they have no qualms about taking your life. They took someone else's, you know. And so I understand having to stand up, for yourself, what you believe in, and all that, and that's perfectly okay. And that's why I have no problem with people protesting, with people saying, hey, calling attention to the injustices and all types of stuff. I support that 100%. But there's also a part of me, and a larger part of me, that says my goal before anything else, I need to protect my child. So maybe that means I need to go down there and be with him while he protests. I think,
and that will be fine.
Right. And so when I think about like the Friday scene that you're talking about, when she was, that's my baby, that's not fair, whatever, I resonated with that. You don't ever want to see your child in a position where they on the losing team, they on the losing end or whatever. And your natural instinct is to figure out a way to protect them, even if that means jumping in, or whatever situation may be. And in some situations, I think that's okay. I think you have to kind of gauge it and see, what the situation is and what's going on. So I'm glad that his daddy was there to be like, no, let him fight or whatever. But I don't think that even his daddy would have allowed the situation to get to the point where Craig's life was in danger.
You're right. You're right. You're completely right. That's the difference between being a father and being a mother. A father is gonna give him a little more rope to toughen up than a mother is.
Yeah, I think in general, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think that one of my major problems is less so of her reaction to her son being out there and hitting or whatever, hitting him and such and such. That's wrong, yes, but that's not where my attention goes. My attention goes to the fact that she really doesn't think that anything is wrong with what she did. Like, she does not have a conscious enough mind to see where she went wrong. We all act out of emotions at one point or another. So I get that. But she feels validated and justified in her actions, and society is telling her that it's okay. But it's not okay. The way she's thinking is not okay. That's not how you handle that situation. And the situation has already happened, yes, but you can still rectify it, or she could have still rectified it, and she didn't. Instead, she went on these shows and she did all these things to validate herself, like you said, validate her actions, and then other people just join her team, which I don't think is right, because she's not questioning what she did. She's not going to learn anything from the situation. He has learned so much from this situation.
I bet you he's going to hit the highway the first chance he gets to leave the house.
Most likely.
And that's sad, because that's going to really tear their relationship. It's going to really strain, it's going to really distort it, because he knows his mom a lot better than I do. I don't even know her at all. But he probably thought that, hey, she might be mad at me for going down here. She probably already told me, because I've expressed this, if not to her, then she's probably overheard me talking to someone about it. And she said she doesn't want me going down there and get involved for whatever reason, And he probably figured, hey, maybe she's just going to handle this when I get home. That's fine, because as long as I can go and fight crime in the daytime, then I'll go ahead and take that whooping at night for it. Go ahead and chastise me later. Don't chastise me now.
Exactly. I don't know if she thought that the cameras were on and yada yada yada. I mean, but you saw it on TV, so you know the camera's somewhere. But it was just wrong. It was wrong, and I hate the fact that he's being applauded for those actions, because that is just, and I'm a proponent of corporal punishment. I am not against it whatsoever, and I'm still like, that ain't right. Like, it's not.
And I'm a little more laxed on it. Meaning, me personally performing corporal punishment on somebody, right? I don't have a problem with it, but I have that interesting gauge to where it doesn't cut off. I put over the line. Let me see if I can explain this to you, before I go put my hands on you.
Speaking of everything that's going on or whatever, you and I both watched the Montel Williams interview that he did on the Breakfast Club, and you have some thoughts on that. And I don't think that I don't know if we are in agreement or in disagreement with each other. So I'm really curious to know, like, some of the stuff he said, I was down with. I don't know how I feel about, reinstating the draft and all that stuff or whatever. He does make some really, really good points.
Mm-hmm.
That being said, I don't think it's anything that anybody else hasn't said. If anything, I'm glad that he said it. I would not have expected him to say it, just because of his stance on a lot of things. He seems to be, I don't know, I guess kind of conservative, so to
Mm-hmm.
speak.
Well,
And he said he was a Republican for a long time, and such and such and such. So it was refreshing, I guess, to kind of know his point of view. But I've never considered Montel to be an idiot. I've never considered him to be stupid. He's always seemed to be a very intelligent man, regardless of which side of the equation that he was on. He's always seemed to be pretty intelligent. I guess if anything was surprising, it was that his ideas and thoughts were in line with how I think, because I don't consider us to, I don't consider myself to be conservative at all.
well, I know that we're not going to be able to finish this in this podcast, but let's go for it. So, I'm not for reinstating the draft, but I did like the point where he said that we should do something because we have gotten too relaxed and too relying on getting stuff free, right? So some type of community something. I don't disagree with that. I don't know how this would be instated, but I had a professor when I was in college, and he's from Taiwan, and he was saying how all of them, after they graduate, I think it was, I can't remember if he said high school, college, I can't remember, but they have to do some type of basic training for some type of armed forces, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't want that for us. I'm not saying that's a bad idea, but just me personally, I don't want that. But I don't think that's a bad idea because you are given a lot of free schooling, and you might correct me with this, please do, but you're given a lot of free schooling and things at the high school, and you just expect things to be handed to you in some form of fashion. Yes, we have to go out and get jobs and go to college, and if that's what you choose to do, and try to make a better life for yourself. But there are a lot of people that just don't. They just get out of school and just think, all right, now what? Now you need to do something. I don't care what you do. You want to be a fireman? You want to be a policeman? You want to work at a daycare? I don't care. You want to, do something for the community, because I think that gives you a better sense of involvement in what's going on. You become more concerned. You become more active. You become more aware.
Yeah, and I get that. I guess my only concern would be, seems like one of those things that, again, poor people will get saddled with and rich people will get out of. That's my issue with it. So if it was a way for it to be instituted, and I'm not saying like drafted for war, but like he was saying, where you serve in some capacity, whether it be providing child care or whether it be, being a volunteer firefighter or whatever the situation may be. But if it's instituted in a way where it reaches everybody, then I agree with that. But if it's another situation where poor and middle class people are expected to do it, and then the rich people figure out a way to get out of it, then I'm not for it, because it does nothing but saddle poor people with more of a burden. You got to do this in order to get this. Well, rich people don't need the shit that poor people do. They already got it. So what is it that I'm giving you for you to give something back to me? What can you give me? I got everything. Now your poor self over here needs stuff from me, so you have to do these things in order to get it. I don't think that's fair.
I agree, and I doubt it's going to hit everybody on the spectrum, because rich people usually get out of everything, like you said. I do think it's somewhat of a decent idea. Like, it's somewhere in the right vein of instilling some type of sense of community, which we don't have.
Yeah, that's true. I would need way more information for me to be like, yes, that's a good idea. I would need to know exactly how it's gonna play out, because it just seems like another way to dangle a carrot out in front of people. That being said, I think I feel like something needs to be done, because I do think that people just suck on resources and just take, and don't ever feel like they have to give anything back, or they give in the form of taxes or whatever. You ain't giving; it's being taken from you, so you ain't giving jack. You're not saying I need to put back into the system. The system is just saying, hey, you owe me, or So I do think that it needs to be a way, especially when it comes to a lot of the social welfare programs. There needs to be some level of accountability for you to continue to receive these benefits, or for you to even qualify for these benefits. Then you need to do such and such and such. But I think to say we need to institute a draft, you know, you're missing the bigger picture. Take care of the programs that you already have. Fix those before you try to start something else. Because, but anyway, that is gonna be another subject for another day.
Yeah, that is. So he said a lot of interesting things. I did not like how the Breakfast Club, I like that they do interview a wide variety of people, but sometimes they say things that just really, really irk me. And it seems like they like to make a lot of excuses
Mm-hmm.
instead of saying, hey man, you have a good point. We need to get together on this somehow to make something happen. It's always, well, what about the kid that don't have it? What about the kid? Hey man, shut up. You sitting from a standpoint that have a lot more than the average everyday person. You working, right? So that's the same mindset that gives those title loan commercials on the radio station. They give those checking the cash commercials on the radio station. You trying to keep us in there. Like, you'll bring it up just a pinch. You'll talk about it just a little bit, but then you turn around and smack us right back down. When you're the voice of the community, man, won't you sit here and try to encourage something instead of always making excuses for it? We got to do better. Point blank. There's different ways of how we could do better. There's different views and different opinions. But whenever somebody come up to the Breakfast Club talking about that, Dame Dash too, these boys are always talking about, oh, what about this and what about that? We don't have this, and you can't be telling the person not to have a boss. You can't be telling the person to go sell drugs. Like, hey, I didn't say go sell drugs. According to Dan, I didn't say that. What I said was get your money and start a business. That's what I said. How you get your money, I'm not putting that out there. Which he did stay clear of that. I respect that. Because you don't want to put out, hey, go sell drugs. But I'm trying to get the standpoints of, hey, money we do get, we need to turn around and flip that into something more instead of just right now.
I haven't seen very many full interviews with the Breakfast Club, and I'm not a fan. I'm really not. That interview with Montel seemed very one-sided, in that he was actually really knowledgeable, at least about like legalization of marijuana, how that impacts the government, and why people don't want to do it and so forth. And they was like, oh, you telling that good stuff, or yeah, it's kind of like, what? No,
That's real
what?
ignorant, man. That's real ignorant, dude.
You missed the point. The point is like over here, and you somewhere over there.
Right.
And a part of me, are they doing this on purpose to try to connect with their audience, or who they think their audience is?
I
Or
think
are
so.
they seriously ignorant, where they don't understand that he's saying basically, you need special growers, and you're not getting quality product when you do it, such and such way, and this, that, and the third, and that's why I have my own people that do this, and that he just, it was like completely over his head.
Yeah.
I mean, over their head.
I laid it out for you, and that's what you took out.
Exactly. Like, you just completely, you lost me. And so since I watched that one first or whatever, I was kind of like, oh my goodness. And the chick that's on there, she just taking up space. Like, get off the wall and get into the conversation. That bothers me.
She is usually the person that does the gossip. Meaning, let's say a celebrity of let's say a rapper, movie star, whatever. She's gonna hop in there with, oh, so you've been dating somebody, blah blah. You've been seen out with this person. Yeah, now she does that a lot. That's her role. Now she has been knowledgeable in certain conversations, but like I said, I think they put her there for the diversity. And when you have a person like Montel who's very knowledgeable in what they're talking about, then I can respect the fact that you just sit there and be quiet. Because what you going to do? You going to sound ignorant like your boy Charlamagne.
Oh, so.
So, hey, teach me. I'll be quiet. There's no need for me to piggyback what you're saying. Teach me. If I have a question, I'll ask it. I'm clearly outwitted in this situation.
Well, I get that point of view. Yes, if you don't know nothing, shut up and listen and learn. I get that. And maybe that's what she was doing. But I feel like, do they talk about these topics? Do they know? They obviously got to know where they're going to go, with these topics. Brush up on stuff so you can be a contributing partner to this conversation. Otherwise, yes, you're learning, but that's not your job. You're not there to learn. You're not. Like, you at work. You're supposed to be making the conversation flow. You're supposed to be asking good questions that keep the conversation going. You're not there to be a wallflower. Like I said, I've only watched a couple interviews with her. She did pretty much the same thing with Damien Dash. The questions that she did ask, they were just, maybe I'm expecting too much, but
generic or something.
Very, surface level questions. Should somebody, if somebody was an intern, does that mean they have? Shut up.
Oh. Your boy, you have two headstrong individuals, and I'm glad you watched those interviews. So if we run across somebody in the future, then you can notice the difference between them having an interview with a person who's very headstrong, very knowledgeable in what they're talking about, versus somebody who's just, I'm here, thank you for giving me an opportunity to be on the Breakfast Club because you guys are really, really famous and have a really large audience, and this is going to help my brand.
Well, I have to check out some more interviews because the one with Damien Dash, I like both interviews. I think they were informative. Completely different style in how they present it. I stand by my assertion that Damien Dash is with a hostile dude, and I understand him his upbringing and how he feels like he needs to communicate with people, but damn, that's damn.
I can't get mad at him. If I was having a conversation with Damien Dash, yes, I would be offended. I would. Hey, don't talk to me like that. But at the same time, with a dude like that, you got to know how to come at him. So with your boy Charlamagne coming at him talking about, I heard this was somebody, Damien Dash had to cut him off. Hey, who you talking about? Let me know who you talking about. Don't be telling me about she said stuff. Don't be doing that. We would never have gotten that interview out of Damien Dash. Dame Dash, what is that man's name? Anyway, we never would have gotten an interview out of him if that conversation would have went the way DJ Envy was trying to take it. So you and Jay-Z, hey, let me stop you there. We're not about to talk about that.
And I love that. I absolutely love that. And I was in such agreement with how many times we gonna talk about this?
Right.
I've talked about this with you before. I want to bring it to a new audience. You telling me, because I'm done with it.
And I'm not gonna lie, I was expecting them to talk about that. Not the whole interview, just a little piece, because that's what I've been conditioned to expect. I don't know anything about Damien Dash. I know a little bit more about him now, but beforehand, what do I know about this cat? But I learned a lot by him shutting it down and really, really laying it out for him. This is probably going to have to spill over to another podcast, but he got some insight on what to do with finances, man, and folks really, really getting antsy about it, knowing that we need to do better. But they want to make excuses, like I said when they were talking to Montel. They want to make excuses. Why?
Yeah, I definitely think that that whole financial piece of what he was talking about is necessary, and I do think it's going to piss a lot of people off because people are not conditioned to think that way. And when you're presented with something that don't mesh well with you automatically get defensive. Thank you for joining us for another episode of the Window Seat Podcast. And be on the lookout for the next show.